scratched the surface. And this, we can start digging this hole. Once again, the lesson or the series or whatever we want to call it is on self-discovery. And Brittany, I'm going to ask you something tonight. If you can be in charge of keeping that table quiet. If he has to go back there with Shay, that'll be okay too. But
let me cell phones too.
Yeah.
You guys should turn your phone off right now.
All right, we're on live now. Self-discovery. And in discovering self, we have to go back to as far as we can remember. I'm going to do a little talking tonight if y'all don't mind. But I asked us to name one thing that made us the happiest as far back as we can remember. We got a few things that was said. Then I said, name the worst thing that happened to us as far back as we can remember. And you know, we had more on that than we did on the good things. And it came to the point that a lot of times bad most of the time outweighs good. You can be good to somebody for a long time, and then you do one bad thing and all the good that you've done has been forgotten about. You begin to talk like Janet when she said, "What have you done for me lately?" And then I asked us, how did those things affect us, and how are they affecting our lives right now? I wanted us to deal with some of the things, the emotions that we felt when these things, whether good or bad, occurred. And I wanted to deal with that because we want to make sure that we deal with our roots. Tonight I want to deal with this part of roots. I want to deal with the part that you play. You play a part in everybody's life that is connected to you. There are some things that you can do, things that you can say that can change the direction of their life, that can change how they feel about a thing, that can change them. And it's so powerful that the church is worldwide. But you can get a preacher to do something crazy, and it will bring reproach on the entire church. Are you catching what I'm saying? So I want to deal with the fact that you play a part in everybody's life that you deal with. This preacher's gone now. I can't judge his relationship with God. Whatever him and God did, if he repented, if he did right, but when he was alive and before he
Went to sleep.
he was dealing with some young boys, taking pictures, sending them to boys. And when he did that, it came to a point to where those boys were messed up about it. They ended up, some of them, losing their minds. It even came to a point to where they made a movie somewhat mocking that situation. And that was one man that touched a worldwide people, and he became the face of the church. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So I want you to understand that's the power that we have. So we'll go back to the Bible where it tells us that God gave us dominion. And he gave us dominion over every creeping thing He gave us dominion over everything in the earth. And by him giving us dominion, look at somebody and say, the power of dominion. Now, can somebody say, name a person that has dominion and how? Sister Toya.
Any person?
Yes, a person that has dominion and why?
The president.
The president, and why is that, T-Roy?
The president has dominion.
It's dominion.
Dominion is what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Let me talk.
The president has dominion because he was voted in and elected to run the United States, to run the country.
So he has dominion because he was elected.
Yes.
All right. Now, Brother Jeray, tell me another person that has dominion.
We have dominion
Okay. And why and how?
because God gave it to us.
Because God gave it to us. Dominion over what?
I mean, the enemy of the things of this world or on land and whatnot,
Okay.
whatnot. I was gonna say something, but I was gonna go deep, so I ain't gonna say.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say angels, technically.
Okay. Another that has dominion is parents. Parents. A mother and a father has dominion over their children. Huh? Has dominion over their children. And I want to deal with the power of dominion. The power of it is, let me tell a little story. My mom named us. She named us all. And elder, she named me Michael. And how many of you know the meaning of your name? Well, my name means one who is like unto God. And it's named somewhat after an angel, Michael. And when you deal with my last name, it has two meanings. One of those meanings is a hilarious one. It is crooked nose, Cameron. And it also means potential for godly living. So naming me what she named me, even with my first and last name together, if I were to follow after my name, I would be something great. And that's why it's important that we be careful on what we do name our children. But not only did she name us, but she taught us. And she put things into us. And this is how powerful that dominion is. My older brother, Pete, my mother and people around used to always talk about how pretty he was. So he was the pretty one. And my mother talked about how rough I was. So I became the hard one. She talked about Kenneth being one that when he puts on his clothes, he's a dresser. And right now, if he wants to, he's going to outdress just about anybody. And it was the words that she gave us that put us in that place. And this is how deep that goes. That as I grew up, no matter what was going on as a little boy, I was fighting. I could be sick. I could be messed up, but I was ready to fight. I grew up and I went into them streets and I fought, even to the point to where my older brother, my mother used to tell me when he go out into the streets, go out there and get him and watch out for him because you know he's not street like that. So I lived up to what she put on me as a child. My brother lived up to what she put on him as a child. My other brother lived up to what was put on him as a child. So I'm dealing with the power of dominion, Brother Congo. When you have that authority, you can literally speak things into existence. And that's the power that we have. And sometimes we get to the point to where we think that people may have outgrown it. We think that it doesn't work for anybody any longer. But as long as you are in a place of authority and dominion, you have that ability to make changes. Are you understanding what I'm saying? That's why I take my position to heart as a pastor. I'm not going to just give you any old thing. I'm not going to try to usurp authority over anyone. I'm just going to give it to you plain. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm not God. And that's where a lot of preachers fail. They believe that they are God. We're just sitting in the place that he has put us. You understand what I'm saying? So when you have that place of authority, and sometimes we're out here doing whatever we're doing when in all reality, it's time for us to learn to take our rightful place. There's times that the Bible says we need to be teaching. But the truth of the matter is we need to be taught. When we're supposed to be teaching, we need to be taught. That's why you'll find that there are times when our children will run us over. There's times when, people that work for us won't do the right thing and still expect to be paid. There's times that, and that's because you have not taken your rightful place. That place of dominion and that place of power and authority. So I tell you, it's that simple. Uh-oh, what's wrong, Sister Danielle? Uh-oh, Brother Roman, come on now, come on now.
No, that ain't me, sir.
Who's doing it? Uh-oh.
Now we smack.
So, and I want to go here, that all seeds, if they are received, grow into something. The only time a seed doesn't produce is when the seed is rejected. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Only time a seed doesn't grow into something is when it is rejected. And no matter what, sometimes we have watched the rejection so much that it stops us from planting seeds. Huh? Sometimes we have seen so much rejection that it stops us, hinders us from planting seeds. Because in our minds we'll feel all that we've seen is just going to continue to happen. So it causes us to throw in the towel and not take our rightful place. Let's see. So all seeds grow into something. And when I go back to those roots that my mother placed in us, she could have placed a whole lot of worse things in us. Can I go to some of the bad things she placed in me? One of the bad things, well, I don't call it bad, I call it good. she gave me a fear and things of dogs. Don't want anything to do with the dog. Huh? I don't want to see it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want it close to me. And if I'm chewing some food when a dog walks past, I'm done.
But your granddogs love you.
Huh?
Your granddog.
I don't got a granddog.
You do have a granddog.
Okay, listen.
We're not gonna do this because
Yeah.
one passed away. One of my dogs passed away.
Be gentle, Pastor.
Yes. Your granddog. Thank you.
It's real to some people.
Real. It is real. So don't you laugh, Grandma. Because I'll have to cut you off too.
It's rough out here. You got to consider their feelings. Earn Romans.
Don't worry about mine.
Romans.
All right, are you done?
No, I won't.
Okay.
Are you done?
Talking about our babies.
All right, come on now. Let's come on back in. So she gave me that fear. And everything she felt about dogs, she made me feel. And now I embarrass myself, even to this day. You got video?
Me too. I got a camera on my dog. Me too.
No, I'm talking about him with dogs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Running.
With gloves and running and all
Oh,
kinds of
wow.
Shaking.
Yeah.
You even afraid of the little ones?
The little
ankle
ones.
biters?
Yeah.
They all dogs.
We have dominion over dogs.
We have dominion.
We have dominion over dogs. But I don't take that dominion. I let somebody else deal with that.
Reject the dominion.
I reject that seed.
We see what you did there.
You go there. So when it comes down to it, there are good things and bad things that can be put in us. And from a child on up, we're learning. And if someone is placing something in you, teaching you something, do you know that there are times that you got to get to a point and a place to where you have to unlearn something?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are you hearing what I'm saying? It wasn't until I was, let me see, in my late 20s that I realized how handsome I was. Mother Hazel, ain't I pretty handsome? So I didn't realize it because all I knew was that I just knew that I was rough. I knew that I was hardcore. I didn't care about my face getting cut. I didn't care about getting a black eye. I didn't care about my body getting broken. I didn't care about anything because I didn't care about this. All I cared about was what was put in me, that I was rough. Being rough caused me to become a gangster disciple. Being rough caused me to commit armed robberies, to carry guns, to shoot. Being rough caused me to try to take things by force. And it was placed in me from a child on up as far back as I could remember. And it wasn't what she was meaning to do. She was really giving us names. And my God, she spoke it all into existence. Now, sometimes we have to realize that we have that power. There's a time when someone could be down and could be going through. You have the ability and the power to speak life into them. You understand? Because at that point in time, when they're in your face dealing with you and you're dealing with them, you have been put in a place of authority because they are at a weak point in their life. Are y'all catching this?
Yes, sir.
And this ain't even where I was looking to go tonight, but I just kind of feel this a little bit. But let's see this. When we go through different things, all seeds grow into something unless it is rejected. If we go back to the hard things that we have learned, some of the things that may be bad, or the bad that came out of some things that we have learned, a lot of them cause scars and leave scars. Whether the scars be on another person, or whether you be scarred yourself. But I want us to understand this. Even when we are scarred in life, people can be healed. But I want y'all to really catch this, because this is a deep one right here. You can be healed without being cured.
I hear that.
I do.
And if you want to really deal with that, think about cancer. If you're being healed without being cured, that's called remission. But the truth of the matter is, it will or will not come back. It can come back, but it doesn't mean that it will. But there is a healing that has occurred, but we call that remission. Are y'all catching this? It don't even have to be a certain amount of time. You can be clean for 10, 15 years before it decides to come back and take you out. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So with that being said, I want you to hear this. That's what we deal with in our lives sometimes. Sometimes we suppress things. There are things that don't affect us until we get to a certain point in our lives. It might be when marriage comes. It might be when something happens. Have you ever been in your car and you might turn on the radio? Somebody got Sirius XM, what is that called?
Yeah, that's it.
And then you turn something on and you hear a song from way back when, and it take you somewhere.
All in your mind.
Or you might smell, a cologne, or this or that.
Yeah.
That takes you back, takes you somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And it brings back all of these memories, and you can get stuck in a moment just like it was yesterday. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And with that being said, oh my God, I want us to understand that that is remission. But sometimes we got to come to the understanding that not only can we be healed, but there is a cure for us. Oh my God, I know I'm a lecturer. Elder, I'm so sorry. I'm going past. Go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I don't know if anyone caught how profound what you just said about a scar.
Absolutely.
A scar is evidence that you were wounded, burned, or traumatized in your body or someone. And the thing about it is that the reason you have a scar is because it didn't heal properly.
Woo.
Every time you look at it, it reminds you of the pain that you experienced. So that's how we do not only mentally, but spiritually. We're scarred, and every time we see something that reminds us of what hurt us, we begin to think about what hurt us instead and put that on the new thing when that ain't the thing that hurt you in the first place.
Sure enough.
To add to that too, another thing that I thought about is the difference between a scar and a scab. When you have a scab, it's an indication that there was some type of wound or something there, and the scab was a part of your healing process. And just like with that, you can go back and it can remind you of different things. Sometimes we do things to disrupt our healing process, and it actually starts it all over again.
Oh, yes. Well, you might as well get up here and teach, because that was my next thing to say.
No, sir. No, sir. Just, I'll take a little bit of the offering, though.
Take a look.
He can.
He can. So listen here. So it can be years later, but this is something that I have said, Elder. I often say this. I often say that time is a healer. But the truth of the matter is that time does not heal all wounds. Are you hearing what I'm saying? It don't heal all wounds. The way that time heals you is if you are able to let go. Y'all, if y'all catching this wisdom that's coming out tonight, the way that time is going to heal you, Roman, I'm going to make you stand in the corner. You're 31 years old. The way that time is going to heal you is if you let it go.
That's right.
Are you hearing what I'm saying?
That's right.
But one of the problems is, going back to what Brother Jure said, that was profound. It was good. But life leaves scars. But do you know that we got people that don't even give things chance to heal up?
That's right.
Instead of, we can make our own scars bigger.
That's right.
How do you make your own scar bigger? By when it begins to scab over,
Pick it.
you pick that scab. You won't leave that scar alone. You won't leave it because it tries to scab. Sometimes things have to get real ugly before it gets better. Scabs be looking all ugly and nasty. You don't even want nobody to see them.
I'm trying to get paid tonight.
Huh?
It ain't November yet. It ain't November yet.
It ain't November yet?
Ain't pastoral
It-
appreciation month.
Sometimes they get real ugly before they get better. But sometimes we like it ugly. We don't want to stop. So whenever it gets whatever, we're bothering it. We're picking at it.
Some of us are pickers. We're addicted to the picking.
Yes.
Sometimes it itches.
Sometimes it itches. When I got stabbed in my back, I got sewed up. And when I got sewed up, that hurt worse than when the knife stuck me. And then after that, it was later on after they shot that stuff in me and sewed me up that it started hurting. Then I pulled those, stitches. And my God, it itched. And it would scab too. So I literally was a scab picker.
It's like London.
Look, y'all see all these scars on my body? Because I literally did that years ago by picking my scabs. My mom slapped me upside the head, boy, stop. And it was, so, but the thing is picking our scabs will leave a constant scar. You understand what I'm saying? And some scars that we have will stop things from growing properly. Am I teaching all right tonight? Some scars will cause things to not grow properly. Because it get to the point to where it look like it's not even real skin anymore. I got some scars on me that look like plastic.
Shiny.
Uh-huh. And the more I grew, that stretched. Scar got bigger. So we got to understand that things that have happened can and will leave a lifelong scar. But the healing and the cure is real. You hear what I'm saying? But with that being said, we have to go back. Am I boring lecturing you?
No, sir. This is good.
Got to go back to where it all began. Because these are things that we're going to want to dig into. We're going to want to dig in to what made us who we are. What made us who we are? What made us who we are? Who was it that had, Sister Toya, dominion? Who was it that had that dominion over us, that put the things in us that grew, that became something different? And when we find ourselves, we got to find what we really want out of life, what we want to do, who we want to be. I told us this last week. I said, think about if this had never happened. Sometimes we can't even fathom it. But do you know, let me go back here once again. I said, sometime in your life is going to come alive in you. The scar, the things that happen, and you never know when. I talked to someone today, and they would have to give their own testimony. But they began to talk, and nobody knew I was dealing with what I was dealing with. But they talked about being molested as a child. And for some odd reason, they woke up thinking about it. When they woke up, that was the first thing that was on their mind. And they said it never really messed with them. That's something they never really dealt with. But you woke up with it on your mind. And so I told this person, yes, it did affect you. And they didn't understand that it did. They didn't understand how it could. But you grew up promiscuous. You grew up addicted to certain types of attention. And a lot of times when times got hard, that's the type of attention that you found yourself running to. And everything around plays a factor in forming us. You understand what I'm saying? These things have been brushed over, pushed under the rug for so long. When the truth be told, I done forgot the statistics, but how many people have dealt with being molested, being touched by somebody in your family? Are you hearing what I'm saying? It's happened, and it happens, and it's been happening from the beginning of time, and it won't stop happening until time ends. But a lot of times we hold those things in, because what happens in this house stays in this house. We hold those things in because you better not tell nobody. We hold those in because it's shameful. We hold those things in because we liked it. We hold those things in because of so many different reasons. But later on, it comes back to bite us. And we realize how bad it hurt. Are you hearing me? And please, because this one is going to stir up some things once it's out there on the internet, because I said things the way I said it. I said we hold it down because we liked it. Now, don't y'all get that twisted, because nobody deserves anything. And I'm saying that to say this. When I was 13 years old, I had a girlfriend. And Mother, as you know, I didn't have a girlfriend ever since I was 11, 12. Had a girlfriend. And her aunt was a lot older, 20-something years old. And I ended up 13, getting ready to turn 14. I got sent out of here. And that woman looking at me, out of all places, church. Next thing you know, started calling me to her house. In the middle of the night, coming to pick me up. And then sending me back to her niece, which was my girlfriend. Don't you tell nobody. Don't you tell your aunt, because if you tell your aunt, you know good and well we're going to have to fight. And so I really thought I was doing something. I thought I was doing something. What 13, 14-year-old got a 27-year-old woman teaching him every crazy, nasty, dirty thing that you can ever imagine? Oh, nasty self. And then we get to a point to where I grew older. I started having children. You let some rotten old woman touch my child and see what happens. I had to go back out of town to attend the funeral. And I'm a grown man now. And she's older. Gray hair, everything. I'm in the funeral. And I look back and notice who I was looking at. I'm sitting next to my wife. That old monster just waving at me. And it made me sick to my stomach. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So when I said we liked it, we thought we were doing something. Thought we were special. Thought that it was something that, you get what I'm saying? And when we come to understanding and realizing that it was simply molestation. Molestation, Joya. That's it. Then we understand that it was wrong. Then we feel as dirty as we should feel. We didn't feel it then, but we feel it now. So there's so many things that make us suppress things. Now, that's what I wanted to deal with in here, but I was talking a little fast. But that suppression is simply remission. Y'all got that? Mm-hmm. It's remission. But that remission is sure to come back. That's the part that's sure to come back. So you can be healed without being cured, but suppression is remission. So when you're suppressing something, it's still there. It's still right there. You just haven't you haven't looked at it in a while. You haven't paid attention to it. I got 30-something years old, and that's when life hit me like a ton of bricks. All the things I dealt with, the things I've been through, depression hit me. I was a mess. And I was up in my 30s and started pastoring. And depression hit me because of the past. that suppression came out of remission, and it hit me. So in these next few weeks, we're going to try to deal with getting the cure. We're going to learn how to deal with when things come out of remission. We're going to learn how to deal with how to reject the seeds. That's another point that I had that was strong that I wanted to deal with is I said all seeds grow into something unless that seed is rejected. And there's some seeds that should be accepted, but there's some that should be rejected. And we got to know the difference. Roman, come over here, son. Come here, son. Come here, son. Come on. 31 years old. Come here. Have a seat right here, son. Okay. You see, y'all laughing at him. That's why he keep going.
It was Dre.
Was that you, Dre?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
You're lying. It was you messing with that bottle, that thing in your hand, and getting on Toy's nerves. And I got in trouble for it. Yes, I called you out.
Okay, come here, son. Come on up here. Come on. Come on, son. Come on. Obedience. Obedience better than sacrifice. No, give me that one of them chairs over here. I want you on one side and him on the other.
I want to be on the right-hand side.
Go grab him the chair there.
He moved the camera.
Come on, son.
Stop playing musical chairs.
Don't make no sense, y'all, acting up in church.
Daddy's in trouble.
I can't stand these two.
You know, since he can't stand us, maybe he should be the one having a seat.
That was me.
So, all seeds grow into something. Unless that seed is rejected, we're going to have to learn what seeds to accept and what seeds to reject. You get what I'm saying? Because some of the seeds that we accept, no matter if we got good growing in us, those seeds that we're accepting, it's allowing the wheat, the tares to grow with the good wheat that is growing in our lives. And the Bible describes it as the tares will try to choke the wheat until the wheat dies and stops growing. So that's why we got to know what to accept and what to reject. Also, learning how to pluck up things by the root. Because there's some things that don't have to stay there. They don't have to stay inside. Ain't that right, Brother Jerry?
Yes, sir.
You look like you're in timeout.
I might have messed up even more. Because now everybody back there smiling and laughing. Even Hazel laughing at him.
I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing at
You laughing at me. All right. So, anybody got any questions so far? I have talked for about 48 minutes and I haven't given anybody an opportunity to say anything. Any questions, any comments? Am I being clear
Yes, sir.
in my teaching?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you're getting an understanding. Is this something that can help you? Is there something that you would want me to specifically deal with when we are going through this series here? And if it is, put it on a piece of paper and give it to me. And I'll go home and I'll start working with it. Because I've really been into a lot of things. But
I'm ready to deal with that remission. When it comes back, what do you do?
Yeah, most definitely. When it comes back, what do you do?
And also, Pastor, what about, because I know we was talking about scars and different things like that. There's certain things that you can do to help make those scars smaller, heal faster, make them smaller.
You didn't hear Mother Pearl when we got to talking on it, did you? She said, "Where's the ambi?" She talked about getting some ambi, but yeah, there are ways that you can make the scars smaller, make them go away. There are things that we can do, and right now this is like an over type view of things that we're going to have to dig into. Everything was a word of wisdom, but yet we can dig deep. I said we scratch the surface, but we're trying to get to a point where we can dig a hole.
That's right.
All right. Anybody else? God, it was quiet today.
I think we're processing, sir.
Processing?
Yeah.
Is it?
I am.
Is it some good teaching to it?
Man.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I took notes.
All right. Well, listen. Is there anybody in here that has any specific things that has to do with this that you would want me to deal with? Rejection. All right, write it down. Get a little piece of paper, tear it off, write it down, and I will get with it. And I'm going to send T-Roy around, Toya around to grab that up for me. Now, and you know one thing that I'm glad about tonight. What are you laughing at?
Just
Toya? Okay. One thing that I'm glad about tonight is that the young folks, they did a lot better tonight. I'm trying to get it right, okay? Because they have been interrupting a lot of things. But it's two young folks that stood out tonight, and they interrupted just like the kids did. And we're going to work on that as well. Amen?
Amen.
All right, y'all go back to your seats.
I think Roman wants to stay by you.
Help me, Jesus.
I got something to say.
Do you?
I just count it a privilege and an honor to be able to stand before the people of God today. Some of us didn't make it. I'm just so glad that I'm one of the ones that did.
Today is not yesterday. Yesterday is not today.
Yesterday is gone,
So we're here for praise.
and appearances and things of that nature that were, a new creature.
Okay.
Obedience is better than sacrifice.
Oh, God.
Days of being silent over.
Listen, Toya.
I was silent.
Toya, am I lying or not? That's how my Jerry curl started out when I started getting it back. Identical, lady. Wasn't it like that, Go-Go?
It was just a little juicy.
It was just juicier.
I didn't put no problem in it.
Yes.
All right.
She wants the orange.
So you all, we're going to work on this, and we're going to try to get it to where those kids can stay in there, and that these kids out here can act like they got some sense.
Yeah, all right.
And we're going to be focused a little bit more on Wednesday. Amen. All right. Well, if that be it, it is 5 till. We're going to turn this into the hands of Brother Roman to.
Once again, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to serve in this capacity, you know, raising offerings and giving announcements. And just to stand behind this sacred desk one more time. To roll on a little while.
Brendan, what was his new name?
Corny.
Cornball.
Cornball.
His middle name was Ball, his first name was Corn.
That's a good one. That's why you look like a ketchup bottle right now. So, we thank God for laughter. It's good for the soul, isn't that right, folks? So, we're going to raise today's offering for those that are in the building. We're going to have Brother Riley run around and pass that pan. Those that are watching the live stream may catch it on a replay. We thank you for joining us, and we ask that you take a moment to sow into the ministry. Allow us to have funds in our account so that we can service the community and be a witness and a light and be able to be a resource to those that are in need. We thank you so much. Until Wednesday, God bless you.